That's always the best when you were younger, but you're like playing music, yeah, whatever. Coming up with an awesome band name that you think is awesome, but years later it's just that's always the best.
Yeah, but it just sounded like a hippie band name, and I was like, it didn't even make sense with the music. So I was, but I was 14 then. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy. In the cool of the evening when everything is getting kind of groovy. I call you up and ask you if you like to go with me and see a movie. First you said no.
Welcome, everybody, to the podcast, Casting for Two. This is episode number 359, and I am as always, your host, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to the, special episode, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with this. Of course, if you would like to keep up with me and everything that I'm doing online, Instagram and Twitter at Casting for Two is the place to do it, as well as however you're listening to this podcast, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Public, or castingfor2.com. However you're listening to it, feel free to leave me a little review. Leave me some stars. Leave me, leave me some money, Just do whatever. No, you don't have to leave me some money. This podcast is always free. But yeah, great episode for you guys today. And I should actually just talk about my guest today. My guest today is the wonderful Andrya Ambro from the band Gold Dime. And they have... the album is out now. It's called My House, and I highly recommend people go out and check out the album. But Andrya was such a fun person to chat with, and I really enjoyed our conversation. Not gonna lie, this was late at night. Well, not late at night, but later than I do my normal episodes. So that was always fun, and you got to hear real unfiltered Chris. Which is really just standard Chris. So I guess there's no difference. But you know what? I'm done talking because we need to get into this episode. All right, people? So everybody sit back, relax, and Andrya, take it away. Hello.
Hi. Wow.
Hi.
Yeah. Your voice, it was very movie phone. In a good way.
Thank you. I'm not saying that's what I go for, but if that means that it sounds good and it is very professional, then I will take that compliment.
No, it's very professional. It was almost like you were. Have you done voiceover work?
I have not.
Okay. I feel like you'd be very good at it.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I do a lot of voices, impressions and stuff like that, and voiceover work was something that I was like, that would be fun to do. But yeah, that's as far as I've gone with anything.
Okay, all right.
So
yeah.
and also just for clarification, it's Andrya.
It is, yeah, Andrya.
Okay.
Not Andrea or Andrea, but I'll respond
right.
later. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's because my sister's her name is Andrea,
yes.
but it's spelled REA.
Yes. I am living a lie. I was born with an REA, but when I was 13, I thought that the Y was really cool, and I have stuck it out ever since.
You know what? I mean, you got to rock it. You got to be you. And if you feel like you are more of a Y, then why not?
Yes. I do feel like it throws people off, and I understand that. But, like, visually, my name is with the Y.
Right.
So, yeah.
And as I was typing your name, it auto-corrected to my sister's name because, that's all my phone knows.
Yeah.
I'd had a talk or two with my autocorrect and say this isn't right.
Yeah. Or you should be saying Andrya, according to
Yeah,
Siri. Yeah.
But how is your evening going so far?
Good. I do. I'm a sound engineer in a more
Hmm.
live sound capacity for money. I've worked in the performance art world for a long time, but I do AV work at the Whitney Museum. So I just did a
Hmm.
long shift here where I mined the galleries all day.
Hmm.
So I feel a little crazy,
Okay.
like I
Okay.
should leave the building, but I'm excited to talk
Oh,
nonetheless.
great. I'm excited too. I it's very rare that I do, interviews at night, but honestly, I always wish that I did more of them. Because for me, this isn't late at all.
Uh-huh. Right. You're
But
Texas, so 2 hours behind 8:30?
one
Oh,
hour.
oh,
So Texas is divided into two time zones. The
right.
far, never E treaded west of Texas. That's where it's 2 hours. I'm closer to Austin, so it's just one.
Oh, that's so crazy. Think of
Right? It's
Austin is so far. I know you're not Austin, you're San Antonio or something. I listened to
yeah.
a couple podcasts of your
Oh,
shows, so yeah. I've been doing the research.
oh no, oh no, I'm in
No,
trouble.
no,
Uh,
no.
no, I'm like with traffic, like maybe an hour 15 away from Austin, so it's not that far.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. But so this is a loose show where we can talk about anything, and if you want to say any weird thoughts, if you're in then go right ahead. I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going
Oh,
to say
okay.
that right now.
Thanks. I will try to refrain from foul language, but how do you have to abide by those rules?
Mm-mm.
Okay, just checking.
Not at all.
And then do you edit this, or do you just
Depends.
let it
Now,
go?
it really depends. Typically what I try to do is I try to get the rawest form of the interview. And if it's, there have been some cases where, a guest says a story that they didn't want to, that they don't want out there in the ether, then I'm like, yeah, I can trim that out. But normally it's just, it goes out how it goes out.
Okay. All right. So if I
I,
say something and I think, an hour later that might not be great, I can just let you know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. I mean, this is a political free zone, though, so it's all
Okay. Cool.
good. And also, we already started.
Oh my God.
That's another thing I like is right when we start chatting. That's when the interview starts.
Okay. Now
So yeah,
I
it
know.
throws everyone off. Yes. And
All right.
but yeah, so we're in it, and since you listened to a couple episodes, I'm assuming that you heard me ask one of my most important questions that I like to ask.
Oh, there was one about the weather, and then
Uh-huh.
the other one was, oh God, I can't remember.
That's because I'm going to ask it right now, right here, right now.
Let's do it.
How much sleep do you need to function throughout the day?
Oh, this is in my life. I don't sleep. I mean,
Okay.
I do, and I know that I need it, and I know that when I get 8 hours, I'm like, wow, you can do that, and it feels really good. But if I'm having a deep amount of anxiety, I will go to bed at like 1 or 2, and then wake up like 4 hours later and just be like wide awake, which is not good. I think if I were to answer your question directly, I would love 8, but somehow I never
8.
really get that.
Gotcha. And do you mind if we delve into the anxiety a little bit?
Oh no.
Because I'm just curious, what makes you anxious?
Well, if it's disrupting my sleep so severely, it's usually if I'm like really busy with a lot of stuff. Like, I've been really busy with some of this album stuff and like doing the tour or getting the tour stuff ready or booking the tour and all that. So when I'm in that zone or other things, obviously, That gives me a deeper anxiety, but I think I do have a general life anxiety. Um, I don't know. There's parts of me that's always the way it's been, and so I kind of like it that way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I would like to be more calm or find a way. I would definitely love to be able to sleep. Like people who can just pass out. I am so envious of that. Like I would pay to have that and not take drugs. You know what I mean?
Right. Like a natural sleep.
Yes.
I'm curious, when did you get the music bug?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I started playing piano at a young age because it was like you either do dance or you do piano. So I did piano, but then I had an older brother. He's like 8 years older than I was, and he was really into cool alternative, sometimes underground, sometimes college radio music, and he really influenced me. So I would say by the time I was like 12 or 13, he was like, I remember he gave me a Pixies album when I was 12 for Christmas. And he lived in DC in like late 80s, early 90s. And from that, I was into some DC bands, mostly Fugazi. And he was really into Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth. So I was into all of that stuff at a young age. But all the while, I was into all that stuff, but then I was also taking drum lessons. I think through all those bands, I was like, I'm going to play drums. I also had a friend who played guitar, so she played guitar, so I was like, well, then I'll play drums. And I started to take drum lessons, and then the lady who gave me drum lessons was classically trained. So then I got into, I was classically trained in percussion as a teenager, and I was in the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra. These were like extracurricular school activities. So I did that, and I was also in weirdo bands all throughout high school. And then I got into jazz. I went to school for jazz. That didn't go well. Should I keep going, or I think I answered the question.
Well, okay. So first off, so many questions. Do you remember any of your weirdo band names when you were younger?
I do, and I never tell anyone. It was so bad. Like we were actually, we were a pretty cool band. Like we would do lots of Fugazi covers, or we would write songs that were like Fugazi without a bass player. And but our name was so bad. It was, I think it was Ali Ma, and it was like it meant learned in music and dancing or something like that. Very bad name.
That's always the best when you were younger, but you're like playing music, whatever. Coming up with an awesome band name that you think is awesome, but years later it's just that's always the best.
Yeah, but it just sounded like a hippie band name, and I was like, it didn't even make sense with the music. So I was 14 then. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. And when you say you went to learn jazz school, was this for jazz drumming?
It was, yes.
Okay. Okay.
But I think I got in more on my classical skills, and I think they were looking to add more women into the program back then. And so I could play. I just wasn't all up in the jazz world as a bunch of, some other people there. But it didn't go very well, me being there. So
it's if there's one thing that I'll always have a special place in my heart is jazz drummers. Because looking at me, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a tuba player, because that's what the music teachers always told me. And I was,
oh my gosh.
My sister was in band and marching band, and I went to all her performances, and I'd always see the percussion players, and I always said, that's what I want to do. I want to hit stuff with sticks, you
Yeah.
know? And then when I was in high school, I was able to pivot into percussion, but more specifically, drum set. And I remember I'd been drumming for maybe 2-3 months. So I wasn't good. I'll just say that now. I was horrible. And, but the band program needed a jazz drummer. So for 3 years I played jazz drums, and, it's ingrained in my head even to this day. So.
Wow, that's cool. For 3 years, you must have,
Yeah.
gotten pretty decent, or,
It's at the time, jazz was not the cool thing. It was lame. This isn't rock. I want to play Weezer. I want to play Foo Fighters. This isn't any of that. And so when I was younger, I didn't appreciate it. Then when I started getting older and playing with more of my musician friends, I learned that jazz broke everything down for me. So if I needed to keep time, I could do that very well. Or if I needed to, hey, let's just play. Okay. I'm able to listen to every instrument and kind of accompany, whoever's playing. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just, to me, it was just playing until somebody told me that. And I was just, oh, well, thank you, jazz.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah,
But
good skill.
But it is, and I just wish I appreciated it more when I was younger. But yeah, kids. What do you do? What do you do? But so listing off your influences, it's funny because I was listening to the album, the Gold Dime album.
Yep, cool.
And I really enjoyed it. Really loved it.
Thank you.
As I was listening to it, I was just, these are songs I probably would have played in, one of my bands, just because I was like, I get these songs. And hearing your influences, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We pretty much have the same alt music sensibility.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah.
But so, well, no, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm ready for your question.
I was just going to ask, how did the band come up, Gold Dime?
How did it come together in general?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, in general.
I had been in a project before. It was a kind of a noisy avant duo for a long time, and it was really great. I was in that with probably my closest friend, and we had stopped, and I kind of just wanted to keep going, so I had started to write songs on my own, which I had done before in that band, but this time I was like, no, I'm going to try to learn guitar. I'm very fluent on piano, and I understand notes and chords and all that kind of stuff, but the guitar was always a little bit of a mystery. Like, standard tuning to me is such a mystery. I actually don't play in standard tuning or write. I write on guitar. I don't love playing it live. So yeah, it was more of a vehicle for me to write songs using guitar. And then I was like, oh, well, I do like performing a lot. And so I started to recruit people who I liked as musicians, and just so we could play a show. And I was like, hey, I have these songs. You want to try to play these songs with me? And then it kind of just kept going like that. And then I realized, oh, it would be cool if this was a more... I had gotten used to writing all the songs, but I realized that, if people aren't giving a little bit of themselves, there's really... And you're not, paying them a ton of money. That, why would they stick around? So it took me a while to get to that point, and the two gentlemen who are in it right now, fellow Ian Douglas Moore, who plays bass and uses his voice, and John Bohannon plays guitar. They've both been around for a while, and this album, they there's a bunch of songs that we did actually collaborate on. So that felt good. Whereas the one before, people had, played with their own style and stuff, but it was mostly stuff that I had written. So I guess that's how it came about, and that's also how it got to this point.
Gotcha. So basically, the album My House was a collaboration rather than just you.
Yes, it was more of a collaboration. Like
Okay.
we wrote a bunch of the songs together, but not all of them. I guess I more or less lead the band, but we all have say in writing stuff.
Right. Okay. As far as the album goes, was there one song in particular that was trickier to write, whether it was the music or the lyrics just wasn't meshing together?
I don't know. Like I'm always just used to, like sometimes I can write the kernel of a song in like an hour, but
Mhm.
but when I do get neurotic with a lot of aspects of it. Um, Mostly, I would say I love rearranging songs and taking them apart and then putting them together in what I feel is a unique way. Um, I don't know if there was one that it was hard for it to come together, but I do know that the song My House was the first one that we all really wrote together. And so the process of that was a little bit different, even though I actually really enjoyed that process. So I guess that one stuck out in my mind as being harder
Gotcha.
to understand how the process was going to go. Anyway.
And no. You mentioned earlier that you did a lot of, or you do a lot of performing. I'm just curious, you as a person, what do you get out of performing? What does it mean to you?
I think it's kind of thrilling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I also have a terror with it, and that has never gone away. It's always been the same, which I almost depend on. Like I wouldn't know what to do if it wasn't there. But at the same time, what would it be like to be a little bit more chill when I play? I think that does add to my intensity when I perform live, which sometimes I wish I could dial back. But sometimes it is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I totally get the whole fear thing. I was chatting with somebody, I guess over a year ago, and I was saying, hey, when it comes to performing, is it something that you're excited about? And she goes, honestly, I do it and I go home and I feed the cat. And I'm just, okay, then sounds good. But whenever I do an interview, I always have this feeling of, I got in trouble and the principal's going to call my mom and my stomach feels weird and the floor gets all slanted. And
Yeah.
I've always just felt that way. And I always hope that, right before I do an interview, the person I'm interviewing will just say, I can't do it. And then I can finally breathe again. But then once I start talking, then it turns out it's okay. And then I keep going.
Wow, you get it before interviews. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, every interview, especially because I sometimes do live interviews, and that's when I'm a nervous wreck, and I need like an hour to just chill and clear my head because I need to mentally prepare myself.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, even before playing live, it's like I don't want to talk to a million people or whatever, or I will, but like I feel like I could run through walls, like that's the rush that I have.
Before a show, if you were to run through a wall, I think that would be the most badass entrance you could do.
Well, then I'll arrange that somehow.
There we go.
But it also affects I'll take BPMs like way up, and my bandmates are like, take it down. Anyway.
And so I'm curious, again, as a person who has performed, I'm assuming, which I don't know if I should assume, but I'm still going to assume. Do you have any gig horror stories?
Gig horror stories.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
Well, I feel bad telling it because, you know, it involves a person. Let me see.
Yeah. You don't
I
have to give
played-
names.
Yeah, no, I
names.
played in this one band.
Mhm.
I will say it was a gentleman, and God, he was a great guitar player.
Mhm.
I mean, he still is, but he just does it less. And I learned so much from him. But you know, there was some anger things, but there was also some alcohol involved, and like he threw his guitar in the middle of the show. I don't even remember why. And then I don't even, and then he disappeared for a little while after that, and we were just still on stage like, what is going on? And then I just quit the band after that. But
Yeah.
he had done something like that before
Yeah.
that was similar. And I think in that before time, he was actually upset that something that either I or someone else did. Anyway,
Gotcha.
I still love that dude. Don't get me wrong. It just, yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, no. That's you don't need aggression and anger. in your life.
No, strange thing. It's also a strange thing to do while you're in the middle of a show.
Right. You need that instrument, dude. You wait till after, and then that's when you do the cool rock moment and break it. Although I know
I mean, he was the
breaking
real deal as far as
he was.
Yeah, as far as like, you know, being rock and roll or whatever is concerned. But yeah. Anyway, go on.
No, I was going to say, as far as, you know, musicians at the end of the night, you know, being amped up and breaking guitars and drums, the nervous person to me is like, but you just ruined a guitar.
Oh, yeah. No, I would never do
what?
that, but yeah.
Yeah, no, whatever. But and then before we go, because we're almost at time.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
it goes by quick. I just wanted to say, I think Revolution.
Oh yeah.
That is a hell of a song. I was sitting there just I started grinning until I smiled through the entire song. I think that's a wonderful song.
Oh, thank you. But that's a Spaceman 3 cover.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, we totally did it our own way, and I feel like if you didn't, well, maybe. If you didn't really know the song, I mean, if you knew the song only vaguely, you might not notice, but yeah. Yeah. Do you know Spaceman 3?
I don't.
Yeah, no, they're great. They were a duo. They started off more like, well, they played live as, I guess, a quartet, but they were essentially two gentlemen. One formed Spiritualized later. But yeah, they started off more garagey, and then they became a little bit more, not like electric tremolo, fuzz, psychedelic. But yeah, they're great.
Well, you know what? You took inspiration, and that's all you guys. That's all I'm saying.
Cool. Well, I'm
you.
glad you liked it.
But for the people at home who would like to keep up with everything that you do online and all that good stuff. Oh, and see a live show.
Okay, so if you want it will be, I don't know. Okay, it's on all streaming platforms as of October 11th. So like Spotify, Apple, I guess Tidal. I don't know the other ones really. Bandcamp. Love Bandcamp. You can also get the record through if you want vinyl or cassettes. You can get it through the label Fire Talk. It should be in record stores at somewhere near the end of the month. I don't know. And if you do like records and you want to buy it at your record store and they don't have it, please just inquire. Let's see. Yeah, is that everything? Am I missing anything? I mean,
Do you have a website?
oh, I guess I mostly consider Bandcamp our website, and it's just
Okay.
Gold Dime Bandcamp, and there's the old Facebook Gold Dime Band. I think is our Facebook, and Instagram it's gold_dime_hertz. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Andrea, I want to thank you for chatting with me. I hope this wasn't bad. I hope you had fun.
No, yeah, there was fun.
Good. I'm glad. And of course, anytime you want to come back and chat about jazz drumming or just drumming, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Also, we do have tour dates. I believe you can see them on our Bandcamp page or Facebook. Anyway, just wanted to say that. But yes, love to come back and talk drums.
Yay. But yes, again, thank you again. I'll let you go and, try to wind down, I guess. Try to chill.
Yeah. Likewise. Good talking, Chris.
Thank you. But have a good night.
All right, take it easy.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.